Hello guys and gals, this is Mike from 911 Custom Diecast. Just want to talk about the decals, some of the decals that I provide specifically for the Hallmark Ambulance model. I don't get a lot of feedback from when I sell these decals. I sell these decals a lot on eBay, but a lot of this stuff comes from custom orders, either decal orders or custom builds that people want done. But I just want to just let everybody know who has either worked with these decals, or if you're thinking about getting some decals like this. Just want to give you an idea on how I work with them. I'm curious to know how everybody else works with them. I'm not the end all be all just because I design these. I design these specifically for the way I work and try to make them user friendly as much as I can. But like I said, I don't get a lot of feedback. But if I get feedback from people and they have suggestions and I can make them easier to work with, I'd be more than happy to rework anything. And also concerning reworking decals, I can rework these to any scale you need. All right, I make SVG graphics, which are scalable to any scale, okay, and they don't distort. So, and as far as customization goes, if you want, specific unit numbers, if you don't like the outlines that I put in, if you want different types of handles, if you want, the customization's endless pretty much on what you can get. Most of the time, I can customize these decals without an extra charge, because I just go in, change the numbers. But if it's a total rework, then yeah, there might be a small fee, usually around $10 to $15 to rework these. If there's too much time involved, I do have to charge it. But most of the time, these things can be changed without extra charge. Okay, so I just want to go over these. I'm doing two builds here, okay, for a customer. These are decals that I do offer. I've already done builds for this customer. They requested 2 more pieces. This is how the decals come pretty much. Not ripped, but cut a little neater. But this is how they're gonna come. All right, they come in an envelope. There's license plates that go with these. Some ambulance companies don't use license plates. You can customize a license plate also. So they come like this, and you cut them out. All right, and I just want to give an example on how I cut them out and why I designed them this way. There's a little bit extra hanging on them, okay, and just some tips and tricks, all right, for folks who are intimidated. If you haven't done this a lot, don't be intimidated, because you're gonna learn. The more you do this stuff, the more you're gonna learn, the better you'll get, and you come up with your own tips and techniques. And don't hesitate to share this stuff, all right? First of all, let's touch on this Hallmark Ambulance. This Hallmark Ambulance is not quite 1/64 scale, but it's pretty darn close, okay? If you put it up to some other green light vehicles, it's a little bigger, but it's not quite 150. This is a 150, and you can see how much bigger a 150 is. Just a little bit bigger, but 150 is bigger. So this is pretty close to 164, but it is slightly bigger. But what's great about these is once you can do anything with these Hallmark ambulances, especially with the guys are doing all kinds of great stuff with them. But you can use these on green light models, and you can cut them. You can make them neater. You can make them as neat as you want. But this was just a fitment test, just to see how this would look with the Chevy front end. I think it looks pretty cool. But as far as stripping these go, I use the Tester's decal remover. All right. You put this in a container, and you disassemble this body off of here. Just 2 screws, okay? Pop this right off. That's one of the first things I do with these. I get this going and I soak it in here, okay? Soak that in there, and then I just take a toothbrush And once that's soaking, you can take the toothbrush and all this will come right off for the most part. They come off pretty clean. Actually, this is one that hasn't been painted. So it's pretty clean. But then once you paint them white, and then you go ahead and paint your, you can use a chrome pen or just silver or whatever. You know, the chrome pens are cool. But if you don't seal that stuff, or sometimes even if you seal it, you lose the chrome effect. So you can find some silver chrome type paint out there that'll give it this shinier silver look. Not chrome, but a shiny silver look. So that's just that. So you soak that, take that out. The body, the cab is die cast. All right. Again, it's held with a screw. It'll pop off. All right. And you can clean it up. You clean it up with some Q-tips and some nail polish remover. It takes, this stuff's no joke. It takes quite a few passes, so don't try to do it all in one pass, because if you put too much nail polish remover, it will burn into the paint and you'll lose the paint. Just take your time. I'll do a couple wipes, get it going, do a couple wipes, let it sit, let it dry, let that paint harden back up, and then I'll go back and clean it up some more as needed. And then if you do hit the, I mean, you can mask this off if you want, but really just take some silver paint and touch up anything that you might have hit accidentally. But just go easy, go careful, you know, be careful and take your time, and they'll come out pretty cool. And then you could take some buffing compound, or a lot of times just some simple plastics, which is a light compound. Take that and polish that up, and they'll come out nice. And then when you put them back together, you know, they look great. But as far as the decals go, I just want to go over these decals and just, like I said, tips and tricks. All right, here's the decals that I cut out. I've already started. All right, so I'll cut and leave the overhang on there just for adjustment, because what I like to do is I like to put the rear on first and then put the front. That way when you go to put the side, all right, they're designed to line up. But just say you're off a little bit when you put them on. When you go to put the side on, because you have a little bit extra and you haven't placed it on yet, you can help line it up if you're off just a little bit. You'll have a little bit of playroom, all right? So, and as far as cutting goes, like getting the lines where you need to cut, just line your doors up. See, I have them outlined. Line your doors and your lights up, okay? This needs to be trimmed more, but this, I'm just showing you a raw piece before I cut all into it. But if you look down here, you see how the line of the door, it's just at the bottom, okay? You can line these up. This is what I do, all right? Hold that steady, bend this forward, all right? It's gonna give you your front line. Bend this back. That gives you your rear line that you can cut. For your wheel wells, rub your finger across here with a rocking motion. All right, press down on it. That's going to give you, I don't know if you can see that, but it gives you the bevel of what you need to cut out. All right, like this. All right, and that'll line it up. Like I said, I'll do the back first, then the front lights. And then if I need to adjust, if I've goofed up a little bit, just slightly, it gives me a little bit of playroom. I'll line it up, see how it looks, and then make my final cuts on the ends, because you don't want these overlapping the blue, all right? Blue on blue, because that's going to change the shade of blue. You'll see the overlap. You want to cut them just right, as best as you can. If you got just a tiny little fraction of an overhang, that's okay. But you know, you want to cut them as close as you can, so you get a nice clean look, and it'll come out looking great. Also, another, specifically on pieces like this that have really great detail, okay? Number one, I'm going to use microset underneath, I'm going to take a paintbrush. I'm going to have my decal water, warm decal water ready with my sponge, all right, for my decals. I'm going to put this in here so it doesn't spill. It's a little trick I learned from somebody else. You use lids or other things just so it sets in there so it doesn't tip. Because I've had them spilled all over the place. I lose a whole bottle and it drives you nuts. But a little bit of microset, put it on here. Then I'll take a little bit of water and get everything soaked up real nice. Your decal's nice and wet over here, okay? And when you bring it over, slide it right off. This microset, when you start, I use a brush, you start brushing it nice and smooth, all right? Nice and easy. Squeegee out as much of that water as you can, all right? And then I'll just let these sit, and that microset is gonna suck that in, okay? Then later, after that's set up, and I'm talking hours later, because I try to get things going, you know, in stages. I got tons of projects going at one time, and I try to keep different stages of the projects going, and it just helps you keep moving along and not getting stalled out, okay? Once this sucks in, then you go over with your microsol. Now both of these products are going to soften this decal up, okay? And it's going to help it contour around all these doors, and really that really protrude are the lights. And once you get that on there and it sucks in, man, it looks amazing. I don't have one currently done to show you guys, but if you go through my page, my Instagram page, you can see vehicles that I've done. Even on eBay, where I sell the decals, I have pictures of the builds that these decals are for most of them, and you can see what it looks like when it's all sucked on and cured and ready to go. And then after the decal's all cured and everything, you can go and do your little chrome details here and there. Your light details, I'll hit that with some silver, and then come back and do red and amber, or whatever you need to do, whatever colors you want to use for your model. Also, another tip is for such a big body like this, and because it has so many crevices and contours and everything, what also helps is if you take your hobby knife, okay, and you can go just make a little press down right on the sides of the lights, all right in the dark spots there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but make little slits in there. And then you can also make it on the side of the box lines, sides of the box lines, even in here. I'll go up here. You can make some random little slits, nothing too crazy, all right, just little slits. What that's gonna do is, when you first put the microset down in a little bit of water, and you put this down and you're squeegeeing the water, it's gonna help squeegee the water out. It's gonna help evaporate the water and the microset and allow this to adhere really good. And then all you gotta do when you come over with the microsol, those little slits are also gonna let the microsol get into any air bubbles that may be left, and really get in and adhere this and help you contour the decal, and it'll look like it's painted on almost. All right. If you guys have any questions concerning my decals specifically, feel free to reach out, and I'll try to give you as many tips as I can. Here's another one. You know, so I'll do the box first, and then I'll do the cab and line this up, and you can push down again, and you can cut out your door handle there on the decal if you want. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Depends on the decal and how much it goes up the door. And also on the wheel well, you press in there, and I've already cut this one. You can see how this one is straight, and I've cut the bevel on that. And don't cut right on your line that you make. Just cut in front of it. That way it'll give you, when you go in and you adhering the decal down, it'll give you something to wrap around, just a little bit to wrap on and help grab it. And the same process, a little bit of microset first, a little bit of water, slide it off, get it in place, squeegee it out with a brush. I like squeegeeing with a brush first, and then sometimes I'll go in, depending upon how it looks, I'll go in with a Q-tip and help squeegee, a damp Q-tip, not soaking wet, but just, slightly damp, and that'll also help really squeegee out any moisture underneath the decal and help you get to where you need to be. All right, I appreciate you guys watching. I hope this helped someone out there. If anybody ever had questions about these decals, if anyone's intimidated about stripping these ambulances, that Tester's decal remover works great. This is a Matchbox truck that I took the box part off, and these are easy. They just pop right off, soak it in, and you can see this side came out really clean, but this side still has a little bit of blue on it from the decal, from the print that was on there. It's not a decal, it's a print. I just take some 3500, all right, because 3500 is not super abrasive, especially with dealing with plastic. You don't want to sand away all the details, the rivets and all that on this box. But I already did it here. But the little bit of blue here, you can just go over this with a nice 3500 sponge pad. All right, that if you don't want to paint it. If you're gonna paint it, you don't have to go too crazy, because you're gonna paint it and it's gonna get covered up eventually. You do a couple of coats, all right, but it'll take 3500 pad to take it right off, and you wouldn't have to really paint it if you get it good, and then clean it, wash it, clean it, and then if you're putting decals on, you can apply your decals and you got whatever truck you want to make. Same thing goes with these Matchbox E350s. Right inside the front is die cast, the rear is plastic. Same concept as the Hallmark, and then you paint them whatever color you want to paint them, and then you can put your decals on. And yep, I make decals for these. I make decals for all kinds of things. All right, so I appreciate you guys watching again. Take care. Bye.